Today we are honored to welcome one of the great voices of contemporary philosophy, a bridge builder between science and spirituality, the link from physics and nuclear science to wisdom, to spirituality.
What is our own source of our own consciousness? What is this incredible ocean of consciousness that we are part of, or that is inside of us? And then how do we dive into it? Learn to be scuba divers in our own ocean of consciousness. Extraordinary.
For you, what does it mean, wisdom, if we have to define it?
Yes.
And how can leaders today cultivate that inner awakening?
What is suffering, and how do we go from suffering? And same way that one of the great poets I've translated and talked about and share all over the world is Kabir, 500 years ago in India. So he speaks about the wisdom all the time.
From the Green March to the future, building bridges between Africa and Asia, welcome to Leaders for Africa, a podcast where leadership meets wisdom and where every story begins with a dream. Today, we are honored to welcome one of the great voices of contemporary philosophy, a bridge builder between science and spirituality, a poet of consciousness, and a traveler of the world's sacred rivers, Professor Sehdev Kumar. Welcome, Professor, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. It's especially such privilege to have you and to welcome you in Morocco for the first time.
Thank you indeed.
Coming all over from and contributing into this caravan, the Wisdom Leadership Caravan that connects Africa and Asia. You've had an extraordinary journey and also an impact on your community and your environment, from studying nuclear genetics and physics to teaching philosophy and human values around the world. Could you tell us how your personal path evolved from science to spirituality to wisdom, and what guided you to dedicate your life to understanding the human spirits?
Indeed, that's a wonderful question. I started with studying physics, first in India in Punjab University, and then at the age of 21, after I finished my master's degree in physics, I was awarded a scholarship to study at the University of Toronto in Canada to do a PhD in physics, in nuclear physics. And that was a wonderful honor for me and a great time, because for the first half of the 20th century, physics was considered the queen of sciences. There are so many great achievements in physics during that period, and I was so drawn to it. And I had great hopes, dreams that I too will make some incredible contributions to it. And I learned, I was okay, I did well. But I was also getting interested in other aspects of life. I was drawn to philosophy, I was drawn to psychology, I was later on drawn to architecture and music. And I found that now, over the years, physics has become metaphysics. So many ideas in physics are evolved. What is matter? What is energy? How are things communicated and shared? Physics is not a simple question of matter and things. It has become a remarkably complex subject. And I'm so deeply involved in its history, its evolution, its history. And they have continued to touch me and inform me, educate me, inspire me. And they continue to do so to this day.
Wow. Interesting. You've been talking about physics mainly, and I would love to hear from you about the link from physics and nuclear science to wisdom, to spirituality.
Yeah.
What is the link? What was your journey?
In a way, all knowledge is that telling us what is nature, what is our place in nature. And physics is studying of matter and energy and how things work. And indeed, if we go back to, say, 400 years ago, to Newton, ideas of gravitation and what is light, or what white light is composed of so many lights, and his understanding how things are drawn to each other through gravitation. These are wonderful ideas of learning about matter and energy. And then over the centuries, so many new ideas have come into physics. What is matter? What is an atom? What is structure of an atom? What is nucleus? What is electron? And then splitting of the atom. This incredible idea that atom can be split. And then the atomic energy. That the energy is, so much energy is in the so-called atom. So fission of atom, dividing of the atom, and then fusion of atom. So until about 95 years ago, we did not know what is the source of energy of the sun. We knew that without the sun, we could not survive here on the earth for 1 second. That it is our source of our survival. And we had no idea what is burning there for so long and with such intensity. Surely it is not coal, it is not gas, it's not oil. What is it that is burning? So it is not until 1937 or so that we begin to see that there are only two elements on the sun, helium and hydrogen, and how they fuse together and create this incredible amount of energy through Einstein's equation E equals to mc square. So this ideas of what is fusion, how energy is created through this, and then what is fission and the making of the atom bombs and the explosion of the atom bombs in 1940s. So new ideas. What is energy? What is the nature of energy? And so all this has been fascinating me. And now I feel truly that this century, 21st century, I won't be around, but I see young people in psychology, in philosophy, neurobiology, discovering what is our own source of our own consciousness. What is this incredible ocean of consciousness that we are part of, or that is inside of us? And then how do we dive into it? Learn to be scuba divers in our own ocean of consciousness. Extraordinary, truly extraordinary, because we are incredible beings. That is more and more people are in psychology, in physics, are discovering that so-called nothingness, that the whole universe is nothing, not a thing, not matter, and yet how energy is expressed and shared. So already I feel truly that physics has become metaphysics.
Amazing. I'm fascinated about how you speak about science, about how we discovered atoms, and different perspectives of the mathematics and physics this last maybe 100 years.
Yes.
And how you speak also about wisdom, not as a knowledge, but as awakening, as questioning, as a way how seeing life and trying to understand life and the environment surrounding us. So for you, what does it mean, wisdom, if we have to define it?
Yes.
And how can leaders today cultivate that inner awakening in a world that is full of noise, full of speed and distraction and disruption? I would love to hear that.
Yes, the word wisdom is more than word intelligent. You see, a person can be intelligent in mathematics or physics or chemistry or very clever, but we don't always associate values with it. An intelligent person can be very shrewd, can be very cunning, can be very cruel, very unkind. Whereas when you say wisdom, it implies that there is harmony, there is kindness, there is a sense of love and something grander, something deeper. And so it is very much implied that wisdom has more encompassing, and then far more encompassing than just intelligence. And so we suggest, we hope that we draw from words of wisdom from great mystics and sages of all traditions throughout the centuries. Going back to 3,000 years, Buddha was there 2,500 years ago. How often we quote him or we feel inspired by him. This whole notion of dukkha, what is suffering and how do we get across, go from suffering? And same way that one of the great poets I've translated and talked about and share all over the world is Kabir, 500 years ago in India. So he speaks about the wisdom all the time. पोथी पढ़ पढ़ जग मुआ पंडित भया ना कोई ढाई आखर प्रेम का पढ़े सो पंडित होए. He said there is many a man who has read all the books, but rarely there is a man of wisdom. To be a man of true wisdom, you need to learn only one word, and that word is love.
Wow.
So we begin to understand what is love, what is compassion, what is empathy, what is sympathy, what is harmony. These are all expressions of love. Love is not just romantic love. Love has many of these. And that's why sometimes we say God is love, love is God. And so many grand, beautiful poems and paintings have been inspired by the notion of what is love. How do we experience it? How do we become lovable? How do we become a loving being? All those things are expressions of wisdom.
Nice. And I'm glad that and I was sure that you will talk about the wisdom of Al-Kabir, the great Al-Kabir. Let's turn into this person, which is a great philosopher and poet that many young African leaders and even in the Occident, they don't really know him very well.
Yes.
Not like in India, or where you come from,
yes.
That you've mentioned earlier, that they used to educate and maybe presented as a principle or as one of the key references.
Yes, absolutely.
Through the educations in different levels.
Yes. Kabir is from North India, from the city of Varanasi, which is the holy city of India, one of the most ancient cities of the world.
Yes.
So just outside of that. And this is about 500 years ago. And he's very much in the tradition of Rumi. Rumi was there 300 years before. And Kabir did not know how to read and write. He was completely unlettered. But his wisdom and the manner in which he composed couplets and songs are truly heartrending. And more people are discovering his wisdom, his grandness, his eloquence.
He also bridged or mitigated the Hindu and the Muslim philosophies.
Absolutely.
And traditions through love, as you mentioned earlier, through also truth.
Yes.
And you've written here, we can see the vision of Al-Kabir.
Yes.
The book that you've written many years ago, the love poems of 50th century age, and those love poems has been presented in different countries around the world.
Yes.
Why do you think Kabir's voice actually is so timeless? And what can his teachings offer to young African leaders and Asian leaders today?
Yes, well, this is thank you for asking, because in a way, he is loved and admired by the Muslims, by the Hindus, by the Sikhs, and is very much part of the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikhs, and everyone in India, North India, adores him. And even though in his own lifetime it was not so easy, because he was a man who did not know how to read and write, so many people, scholars, through their arrogance, felt, how can a man who has not read any holy books, quote, have any knowledge of spiritual knowledge? So he would then, what is grand about him, he would in turn invoke them. He says, मैं कहता आंखन की देखी, तू कहता पोथी की लेखी, मैं कहता सिरझा बनहारी, तू राख्यो अरुझाई रे, तेरा मेरा मिलन कैसे ही खोई रे. I say what I have seen with my own eyes. You keep quoting the books. I say he's everywhere, but you keep hiding him in the scriptures. how can our paths cross? So he's, in a way, what makes him grand and so much quoted by so many people in North India is that he speaks from the heart, from the soul, and speaks with an incredible simplicity. And the whole idea of opening your eye, inner eye, the third eye, and what William Blake, the great British poet in the 18th century says, cleanse your doors of perception. You will see things as they are, infinite. What is this cleansing your doors of perception? How to open your, cleanse your eyes. So this is, in a way, the mystical, spiritual idea from all traditions, from Muslim and Hindu and Buddhist and Jain and Sikh and Jude and Christian, so every one of them. And really, just as we, through going to school and college, we learn how to reason, how to learn science and physics, same way, how to contemplate, meditate, reflect on ourselves. That is another level of that I call, and everybody calls spiritual knowledge. And it is being given space more and more. As I travel in many parts of the world, I share it, not to make anybody into a Hindu or a Christian or this, not to convert anybody, but to invoke everybody to learn to reflect on our being. What is the seed in us? If such a tiny seed in such dark, dingy waters can rise to become such a beautiful lotus, what might not you and I, my love, become in our journey to the sun? Our real journey is not to the moon or to the Mars, as has been going on, but to the source of light, and that is the sun. This is metaphorically speaking. Nobody goes to the sun, but metaphorically, symbolically speaking, the source of light. And the light, symbolically, in this case, is the sun.
Amazing. Thank you for bringing this up. Knowing also that you've written many books, and one of those books is The Lotus of the Stone.
Yes.
I recommend the audience to try to read it. It's very, very interesting book talking about this journey of to find the wisdom within ourselves, and also putting the seeds where they should be, the seeds of light, the seeds of love, the seeds of knowledge, and also wisdom.
Absolutely.
So yes, there is a line you often quote: the drop becomes part of the ocean, but how the ocean becomes part of the drop. That only a rare man can understand. Would you please share your interpretation to this metaphor in a way that our young African Asian leaders can understand and relate to?
Yeah, very good question, very good observation. Here, sitting in Morocco, which is surrounded by two oceans, you have Mediterranean on one side and you have Atlantic Ocean the other. And then India is surrounded by ocean. All India has a large coastal area. About 70% of the Earth's surface is water, is ocean. And yet we know the ocean, we have not gone down. The ocean is about 10 kilometers deep. And we have gone down maybe half a kilometer. And still we don't understand why it is so, what is going on. So symbolically, metaphorically speaking, we have the ocean of consciousness within us. And we are beginning to, Freud in the Western culture started introducing this idea of subconscious and then what is the nature of dreams, what happens in dreams, who is it recalling the dreams, what is real, is it an illusion, and then Carl Jung, the German philosopher, talking collective unconscious. So all these notions of what is consciousness and who is it that recalls them are becoming part of our notion. So it is in this context that one of the ideas say, what is a drop and what is the ocean? So some of the couplets of Kabir, you see, the Herat he sakhi raha Kabir herai, bunda samana samad mein ab kat heri jai. When a drop becomes part of the ocean, who can say what is what? So he compares himself that I'm submerged in the great consciousness. I'm become part of the divine. So he says, so who can say what is what? So the metaphorical, he says, so when a drop becomes part of the ocean, who can say what is what? And then the second time he says, when a drop, and then the ocean becomes part of the drop. Who can say what is what?
Yes.
And then he's in that context, he says, how a drop becomes part of the ocean that everybody can say, see, but how ocean becomes part of the drop that only a rare man can comprehend. How the two in together. So what is one, what is the other, how they emerge together.
Amazing.
So it is a very much a thought. Lali mere lal ki, jita dekho tat lal. Lali dekhan main bhi ho gayi lal.
Yeah.
The light of the divine is spread everywhere. When I go searching for it, I too become part of that light.
Yeah, I love this quote and I love this poem. You know that.
Yes, yeah.
And actually, I wanted to mention that we all think, and in the Muslim also culture, Moroccan culture, we are all the same. We are all children of light.
Yes.
We are all children of the universe. And we say in Arabic, in Darija, احنا كاملين ولاد 9 شهور. We are all children of 9 months.
Yes.
So, so that this poem, especially that you've just mentioned, is very special one, and it feels like a bridge between this wisdom of Al-Kabir and the spiritual heart of the universe, or
yes.
if I could say of Africa, because
Absolutely.
we believe also in Africa that we are all the same. We came from the same mother, the same universe.
Yes.
And how do you see from this poem or this metaphor the connection between Eastern mysticism and African humanism?
Wonderful indeed. You see, much as we see the differences of color and ethnicity and history and foods and clothes, as I travel in many parts of the world, what I've discovered, what is common between us is so grand. You know, it's the humanism, the humanity, the oneness, and what is common between us, the divinity in us. I feel if we have a little glimpse of both of them, that is the wonder of it. And then what is differences of color and skin and religion, they become trivial, they become small. And truly we talk about this humanism that is in all of us, that sense of the same spark. I'm human, I need love, I need compassion, I need food. One thing we have discovered, that everything that is living, whether it's a mosquito or a deer or an elephant or a camel or a human being, requires food. And the food has to come from outside of our body. It's not from something inside.
Yes.
And thoughts can come from, you can close your eyes, thought can come, but food has to come from outside in order for us to sustain ourselves. Yeah. And the food is not the same. A mosquito's food is not the same as a deer's food. But it requires, same way I feel we need the sense of the divine in order to sustain ourselves truly everywhere. And it is in that sense that the humanism, that is in the ideas of what is human or crimes against humanity. This notion, crimes against humanity. It started, the first time that phrase was used was in 1861. And this is the time when the Civil War in US was erupting between the South and the North. And it is the time when, say, what crimes have been committed against black people who were brought as slaves from Africa. So what is humanity? What is oneness? What is the sense of the divine? These are same things all over all in my travels in several countries. I feel it's the same. And we begin to discover this. Of course, there are differences to celebrate, and music is different and so on. But beneath it, what is common between us, our humanity, our divinity, that is the grandeur of it, truly. It is in that sense, Africans, you have a different DNA, you might say, from here and say, but to discover the spiritual DNA in us, and that is in all of us the same. Truly,
Indeed.
That's the wonder of it.
Wonderful.
Tu karta tu bhaya, mujh mein rahi na hu. Pari pheri bali gayi, jit dekho tit tu. When I called your name, I forgot my own. all I see you is you, you and you. This is incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, it's a real and a powerful way to share love.
Yes.
But in using these philosophical thoughts and, if I may say, a wisdom, a new way to see ourselves through the others.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
thank you for sharing this, Professor Kumar. You are not only a professor of sustainability and initially a nuclear physicist, but you're also poet, a philosopher, and writer of many books, but also filmmaker. So from your last last film, From Amazon to Ganga, that you launched 2 months ago, right?
Yes, it was
in India.
Yes.
And I had also the opportunity to see it in many places during the Wisdom Leadership Caravan that we are sharing in different cities in Morocco. It's such a poetic journey. It's incredibly powerful and poetic, but also it's a kind of a meditation that we live and what we experience through this piece of art, if I may say.
Yes, yes.
And this through your movie or your film, we can see your journey in different places in the world, especially traveling through sacred rivers,
Yes.
Forests,
Yes.
and also nature and meeting humans, and this consciousness, human consciousness,
Yes.
which really inspired me and inspired us, many people who participated to the film screening sessions. What did you discover as you followed these sacred rivers all over the world?
Yes,
really.
Yes, this film, From Amazon to Ganga, a celestial journey, as you mentioned, it was just released about 2 months ago in August in India. It is a film, a 1.5 hour long film. It's great for me. It's a great journey for me, truly, to make it. It was quite a challenge. I'm very drawn to cinema as an art form. Cinema is the youngest art form. Truly, it's only 125 years old. First films were made in 1895 and so on. But its impact all over the world is extraordinary. You know, music has been around for thousands of years, and people have been making paintings for so long, dancing, and so many other art forms have been around for a long time. But cinema, the visual movement of events and so on, is very recent. So I was drawn to making this film. And I was in Amazon River last year in Brazil. And then in the special festival in India, the river Ganges is the sacred river of India. And this festival is once in 12 years. And it gathered the largest gathering of human beings, over 400 million people over a period of 5 weeks. And I was there for 10 days or so. So I was observing what is it makes the river sacred. What do we do? People bathing, cleansing themselves. And so what is cleansing? Cleansing of our hearts and souls and minds and so on. So the film is about my own spiritual journey. When I say my own, in a way, I hope it's not my in the sense that only interests me. Hopefully it touches other people as well. And in my presentations in many cities and many different audiences, I'm very humbled how many people feel very touched by it.
Yes.
And so it's a story of what is our spiritual journey? What is the seed in us that is yearning to become a certain fruit, a certain flower? And so that is our personal spiritual journey. But in the process, you discover everybody else's journey as well. It's an incredible journey.
Very interesting, indeed. And you used rivers through your journey, and the river as a metaphor actually
Yes.
runs through your work,
Throughout
and your both literature and in the symbolic of
Yes.
your work.
Yes.
So in Africa, rivers are also like the Nile
Of
or
course.
like the Niger. Also shaped civilizations
Yes.
and the economy and the collective evolution and memory of many different areas and countries.
Yes.
What do rivers for you teach us about leadership, about the flow, the evolution of the civilizations, and about leading with humility and adaptability?
Yes, yeah, very good. In my film, I have referred to primarily three rivers. The river of Nile in Egypt.
Yes.
I was there about 7 years ago. And then last year, a river of Amazon in Brazil, and then Ganga, the river, sacred river in India. In a way, rivers, I feel as though the river's flowing within us. It's incredible. Flow of life and veins and spirit that is within us. So what is a real and what is a metaphor? What is something that touches you, inspires you in your poetry, in your paintings and sculptures? We are always drawing from each other. There's a wonderful line, art historian saying, an artist is not a special kind of man. Every man is a special kind of artist. All of us, truly. A child you have a daughter who's 3 years old. I can see in her yearning to express something that is a real artist coming out through her movement, through her dives, through jumping around. So all of us have this need or this ambition to express ourselves.
Yes.
And so rivers become a symbol and metaphor. And for India, rivers have been sacred because life is sustained by them. If we lived near a river, that's what, or river, a lake. Without all life is all urban and rural life has grown around water. We couldn't survive without water. So they are sustenance of our life. But then over the millennia, you create music, you create dances about it, you create prayers. That how wonderful it is that. So India has incredible number of dances and poems and songs and about river Ganga and other rivers.
Yeah. How do you link that to leadership? Or maybe how do you define leadership?
Wonderful, good question. Because leadership is really, I'm discovering that more and more projects are being done together and are not just the genius of one person. One person can have absolutely wonderful intelligence, but in order to create something, you need to be working
Collective
together.
intelligence.
6, 8, 10, 20, sometimes 2,000 people. And filmmaking is a good example of that. You need to be a leader I'm working with editor and a sound recorder and set designer and a script writer and so many people. So leader is one who listens to others, who cooperates with others, who inspires others, who is touched by others, who appreciates others, and who's not petty, who's not small-minded, who's not jealous. And leadership qualities are very essential. It means you are a good human being.
Yes.
And you inspire in others. All of us get discouraged, feel hopeless sometimes, feel despaired. And a person who's a leader, he or she inspires you, say, yes, feeling low, but let's move on. Let's not forget our vision. And that's how rivers are. In Canada, where I have spent most of my life, in the winter, many rivers freeze. And you say, wow. And you walk over it, trucks go over it, cars go over it. So in a way, the rivers are elsewhere flowing. So how to learn to flow? How to learn to move on. There's a wonderful song I have used in my film. Sansar ek nadiya hai, dukh sukh iske do kinare. The whole world is like a river.
Yeah.
And happiness and sorrow are its two banks. And you learn how to flow between them.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So river has a very great presence in our imagination.
Yes. Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make just a pause so you can put your hat, your
Yeah.
turban.
Yeah. Is it okay?
It's okay now. Yeah. So we continue?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, the rivers are within us, and the theme of this Wisdom and Leadership Caravan this year is From the Green March to the Future. And it's also about, of course, from the rivers, we're going to the deserts. So, and about also the evolution of many African countries. And it's about also how we evolve together as leaders, as citizens, to embody sustainability, to embody not just environmentally, but also ethically and spiritually.
Very important.
So you wrote a book called 7,000 Million Degrees of Freedom that we've presented at a very famous book club in Casablanca. And I love the title. It feels like it's a declaration of human population.
Yes.
And a declaration also of human possibilities.
Absolutely.
And opportunities.
Yes, absolutely.
Could you tell us more about the book and maybe what does it really mean to you? And how it relates to freedom we need in leadership today?
Yes, very good. Yeah, this book came out 6 years ago when the human population was about 7 billion. 7,000 million. So the book title of the book is 7,000 Million Degrees of Freedom. And the subtitle is called One Earth, 7 Billion Worlds, as though each one of us has a world inside our heart and mind. So one Earth, but each one. And so, and then it celebrates what is freedom. Freedom is an idea that has been around in every society, in every community for as long as we have lived. Freedom from hunger, freedom from oppression, freedom from exploitation, freedom from fear. So there are a lot of freedom from. Then freedom of expression, freedom of thought, and freedom of. And then we have economic freedom, freedom of political freedom. People have given their lives for freedom.
But by the way, when I mentioned for the first time the Green March, you said, what is this about? And I was really happy that you discovered how Morocco used the unity of different persons and citizens from different backgrounds to look and ask for freedom, to share love, using spirituality, using wisdom, and to be unified communities as we always used to. So I'm glad that you discovered that. And this year, exceptionally, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Green March. And one of my uncles, by the way, have participated to the Green March in the 1975. And it was an amazing journey for him, for all the members of the families who participated to this amazing journey that really, how can I say that, represents a movement that we believe that was a movement of hope, of unity, of love, for peace.
One of our great leaders, who India also fought for freedom. You see, from the British. We were under the British for almost 250 years or so. And the great leader, Mahatma Gandhi, he came from Africa. He was in South Africa for 23 years before he came to India, and said we fought to fight for freedom, but not through violence, but through peaceful ways. Satyagraha. He introduced a whole new way of fighting for a certain cause. So freedom, the whole history for the last 400 years, 500 years, many parts of the world, has been history of domination and imperialism and colonialism. And now just Africa is becoming, almost all of it has become free from that phase. Asia has become free. In how Indonesia was occupied by the Dutch, how so many parts of Vietnam and Laos were occupied by the French. India was occupied by the British. So this whole idea of independence, freedom, equality, justice, these are the has to be prevail in every part of the world. And Africa, why Africa has so much in common with Asia? Because we have suffered the same way as you have. Sometimes far more than us in some areas than others. But we need to come together to rejoice, to celebrate life, to feel sense of justice and fairness, equality for everyone, every corner of the world.
Yes.
And that's what I see. New leadership, young people emerging, not to dominate each other, not to control each other, as has happened in the last several hundred years, but how to say, listen, we are all human. Let's learn how to make friendship with each other, how to trade with each other, how to create music with each other, how to play games with each other, soccer and football and cricket and tennis. Wonderful. See, that'd be a wonderful way.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for reminding and putting also this example of the March of Salt of Gandhi.
March Salt, Gandhi started in 1930. Yes.
And how it relates, of course, when we've started talking about the Wisdom Leadership Caravan, it's really connected. Yes. It was a continuity, especially that also we've discovered that the population of India today is 1.4 billion people and equals the whole population of 54 countries in Africa.
That's right.
1.4 billion. Yes. It's really, really interesting number.
Yes.
And bring this question into the table where we should ask ourselves, how could we start working together, co-create, especially in the tech fields, knowing that India is also a country where AI and technology is very, very developed, and business in general is often is dominated and dominating some African markets also. So how could we start working together, developing together between Africa and Asia, and especially India?
Yes, it's a wonderful, important idea, truly, because the first time we are beginning to reach out to each other, not as to dominate each other, but as to how to trade, as I said, trade and cultural communication. I think India has now many hundreds of engineering colleges, and some of our graduates have top CEOs in USA and many big companies. So India is developing a new kind of not only engineering field, but new confidence is emerging, which was not so when I was a young man growing up. That we felt as though we are not at par with the Europeans. That is not so with young people and young women, women students and young men. So I think it'll be very important to see students from Morocco coming to study and exchange programs in India, learning about each other and learning many things and sharing with each other. I mean, for me, as I have shared, it was a great surprise to visit your country. I didn't really know. I thought somehow it's a kind of a third world country run down, and very impressed by what you have achieved. Truly, very impressed. Beautiful. Your cities are so beautiful, well run, beautiful, clean, regulated, and beautiful restaurants and schools and colleges. So much to learn from each other without pulling anybody down or trying to dominate each other. As I said, I'm much too old to keep hoping that but I see young people all over the world. My message to them: create a better world, create a world of equality and justice and freedom, and not focus on wars and distrust and anger and domination. New shift in our psychology, our consciousness. To me, this is real spirituality, true spirituality. Yeah, truly.
And how could we integrate this philosophy really concretely into the modern systems? How?
I
From
see,
your perspective as a professor and expert.
I see more and young people should learn, go to other countries, other places for 3 months, 4 months, 2 months as exchange programs, learning about girls, about children, about what kind of development programs, what factories are running, how they're running, and invite other people to come. I would love to see young people coming to Morocco, learning about how you're doing it, what are you doing, and learning about Nigeria, which is the largest country in Africa. Your population, it's not just the population, but how the population is distributed. That's very important. How many people are under 20 years of age? How many people are over 50 years of age? How many older people? What is the place of women in the society? How many are working women, girls are working? This shows equality, fairness, justice, and so on. 100 years ago, there were not many schools for girls in India. My mother never went to school. She was 10 years old when she was married. Now I look back and say, how many girls in my extended family are professors and teachers and principals and architects and writers and dancers. Incredible change. That's how it should be.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow. You've mentioned your mom experience, and it reminds me also some Moroccan cases. What I want to say from this experience of your mother, that we also in Morocco experienced this with our grandmothers. And we used to have also these situations, and we still in some very far villages, some people are not really conscious about exposing those young girls facing the real life of being mothers at an early age, which is very, very difficult. But if we come back to spirituality and consciousness, can spiritual consciousness coexist with artificial intelligence and this disruptive innovation that we've seen this last 2 or 3 years?
Well, it's a big challenge, truly, because we have had several revolutions and cultural and other revolutions in our human evolution. If you look back, the first great revolution was agricultural revolution, 10,000 years ago. And then as you move on, 2,000 years ago, human population was less than 2% what it is today. Incredible. We are now 8,000 million people, or a little over. At that time, we were about 200 million. So big change. It's not only the number of people, but also what we need, what we expect, what we eat and dispose of, what we waste. And so that whole drama has changed dramatically. So it is in this context that we begin to say, what are the revolutions? The Industrial Revolution came. And then scientific revolution came. Then communication revolution came. How many people, the idea of a telephone, a cell phone, a radio, a television, and communication, movement, aeroplanes. It's only about 120 years ago the aeroplanes were invented. What an extraordinary change. So it is in that context I see AI. What could AI do? And more thought needs to be given. Is it to control? Is it to manipulate? Or is it to make life richer for everybody, more people, easier perhaps? So it's a great, obviously it will bring about great changes. And some, hopefully we are thoughtful, ethical, sensible about it, that those changes are not destructive, not only to make weapons of destruction, but say how to create better life and less destructive life, more pleasant life, and so on. So these are challenges. I don't know the answers, but more and more people, as they are creating this incredible new technology, new idea, need to also discuss what would it mean to have a taxi going without a driver, to have a car going without a driver, and then what is the nature of teacher? What is the role of a teacher in a classroom? If you can see the same thing at your own leisure and in different languages. So these are good questions and important questions. Just as the Industrial Revolution was incredibly difficult thing for people to, it did many awful things, difficult things. So I'm sure we need to prepare ourselves.
Yes. You've mentioned once that human greatness is, human consciousness is the greatest renewable resources. This sentence could be a slogan for our caravan, if you allow me to say that, because we are really connected and oriented to sustainability and renewable energy and renewable solutions and resources. So what do you mean by that, and how can societies invest in that kind of resources?
Well, this whole idea of what is sustainable. Sustainability is an idea that started in the 1980s, that which we bring about a change, but can it be maintained? Can it go on? And then what impact it has on the life and on their energy resources and so on. So this AI's changes that seem to be on the horizon. What would it mean for a human population, for human lifestyle, for our global temperatures and heating? And we cannot speak about our own changes in human society without its impact on the earth. And because that is the only place, so far as we know, which has life on it. Truly, it's the most precious creation of the universe. That among us, the billions of planets, this little planet called the Earth is the only place for its life. So we need to learn what impact all our work would have. Our consumptions, our waste, our ways of doing things, and our use of energy. We have found a lot of new energies. As I said, atomic energy is only 75 years old. And now we're discovering what other energies can be found, which are less destructive, there are more green energies, less destructive to the environment. These are important questions, and more people should be discussing it, exploring it.
I'm wondering maybe if you could share a little bit more about the city where you are living for the last 7 years, because we're talking about sustainability. And I think it's a good, a great opportunity for our audience, for us, to understand better how this city, which the name is Auroville, based in Pondicherry, in the south of India, and where you are living for the last 6 years,
That's
right?
Yes.
So what could you share about it and is related to sustainability? And in terms to sustainability in architecture, but also to management.
Yes, this is a very unique city in the world. It started in 1968, about 56 years ago, and it's called Auroville, named after the great Indian sage and poet Sri Aurobindo. And it's in South India, and the closest city to us, 10 kilometers away, is Pondicherry, which is a city of about 500,000 people. And it is a French part of India, a small French part of the country. And it started as a spiritual and ecological community. So now, at present, there are about 3,000 people there from 62 countries. It was started by a French woman who came to be known as the Mother. She was a devotee of Sri Aurobindo and an associate. And the whole idea is a spiritual community. We are discovering what is the nature of human evolution, what is consciousness, what is being, and from many sources. It's not a religious in the traditional sense of the word, but a more spiritual awakening. And it's very, very creative. People are so many musicians and writers and poets and dancers and poets, and it's very given to creativity and expressions. And then it used to be completely, there was hardly any tree there in this 3,000 acres. Now it's one of the most forested part of the country. So many trees have grown, and there are hardly any cars there. I don't have a car, I just have a bicycle. And most people either walk or bicycle or sometimes on a scooter. So it's very ecological.
It's a great inspiration for us and for many architects.
Yes.
As we discussed.
Yes. Simple living, what kind of materials can be used, which are not destructive to the environment, which are good for, you can stay there in the heat and temperatures without always using external energy. So these are very questions which need to be asked all over the world. And it's a very wonderful experiment. And many students of architecture come to study the place, and many other peoples come. How do you live? So many people from so many different backgrounds. How do you live together, and what makes you tick, as it were?
Yeah. How did you decide to come and live there? Live in Ottawa?
I was in Canada for a long time, near Toronto. And I was a professor for a long time. I happened to visit India. I was on a lecture tour of India in many universities for 4 months. And I had just had about 10 days still left to go back. And I visited it without really knowing anything about it except the name. And Sri Aurobindo, I have studied Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. And I was deeply taken by it. I thought deeply touched by it. I thought the buildings, the places, the things that happen, the foods, the quality of life. So slowly I was drawn. So last 6 years I've stayed there full time. And I feel, I feel truly blessed to have discovered this place.
You are making us curious about it.
Yes,
we would love to visit it soon.
Invite others to come to discover. It's an incredible, beautiful place.
Yes, yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing. And we are having also, during this caravan, we will have different workshops about Auroville that you will. We will be delighted to
speak more about it.
to share more about it. So through this caravan that connects 5 cities, Casablanca, Rabat, Tangiers, Marrakesh, and Essaouira, under one purpose, building bridges between Africa and Asia, right?
Yes.
So, and India was our guest of honor, of course.
Yes.
Thanks to you, thanks to your friendship, and for coming and honoring us. What do you believe India and Africa can learn from each other through this journey, even spiritually or philosophically or humanly? How do you see this mixture, and how could we really learn from each other?
I feel India is a very complex country, a very diverse country. We have 28 major languages in the country. Even though officially there are 2 languages, Hindi and English are the 2 official languages. Hindi is spoken and is not spoken or used in South India. It's mostly in North India or East and West. And so an incredible diversity of people, an incredible range of people. And then it's an ancient country, more than a history of more than 4,000, 5,000 years of civilization. So there's much to learn from India. For Indians itself, for me to discover India has been a great journey itself. And so for people from in Africa, you have a great range of people here, great range of life here. It's a huge continent. It's not as big as Asia, but still it's a huge area, huge number of people, and huge diversity, and huge challenges you have faced. Incredible challenges. So there's much to learn.
In Morocco, we have 3 different languages. We have Amazigh, Arabic, Moroccan dialect, and French. Now more and more English. Morocco is also a country of more than 13th century.
Yes.
So I think there is many common points between Africa and Asia, especially India, in terms of diversity.
Yes.
And the idea is to have your feedback, your thought about what are the areas where we could really connect.
Yes, I think a lot of new technology that is emerging India is very much at the forefront of it. A lot of people from here learning from each other and so on. And then I would love to see many people, urban planners in India, to see how you have planned some of your cities so well. I would love to see some of Indian cities. Indian cities are big, huge. City of Delhi has a population of almost 20 million people. And same in Kolkata and Bombay. These are big, huge cities. And then smaller cities. And some of the urban challenges of maintenance, cleanliness, and traffic, and housing, and equality, and fairness. These are much to learn about each other, and much to share. And we human beings it's a one large family. Vasudev Kutumbakam. It's a Sanskrit phrase that goes back to 2,000 years in India. The whole world is a family. So what is a family? First thing in the family is to learn about the family. Who are the members of the family? What do they do? What do they? How do they live? What is their challenges? And learn from each other. So this notion of one extended family is a good idea, a good thought, a good sentiment.
I love this word that you've mentioned, because also family for us as Moroccan is very important.
Yes.
For me as well.
Yes.
Family and the unity of family is very, very important.
Yeah.
And if you allow me, I would love to ask you this question. What would you say to your family, to your African family?
Yes.
What is the main message that you want to share before closing and concluding this amazing discussion?
I was saying, I was half jokingly saying, I want to move to your beautiful country, such a lovely country.
Welcome,
so,
of course.
The love I have received, the friendship I have received, the conversations I've had in the last 8 days at many places, are deeply touching, truly. I'm discovering our humanity, our oneness together. Abli Allah noor paya kudrati ke sab bande. Ek noor se sab jag upja. Are kaun bhale, kaun mande. From one light, all has come to be.
Yes.
We are all children of the same Creator.
Exactly.
Who's good, who's bad? These are all phantoms of our own mind. So to discover goodness in each other, friendship in each other, laughter in each other, and appreciation of each other. Truly, this is the new journey for our young children, for our youth. This is the true leadership.
Exactly.
Okay, true leadership. Not destruction, not wars. This has to go. This stupid way of resolving conflicts has to go.
Yes.
This is barbaric. This is uncivilized, uncultured, unspiritual. This is the true path, is learn, negotiate, mediate, meditate, all those things. Yes. Reconcile. And Truth and Reconciliation Commission started here in Africa, in South Africa. First time in the history. They say rather than killing each other out of revenge, and we're going to kill you, let's find out what you did, and do you agree that you did wrong? And since then, there are about 20 such Truth and Reconciliation Commissions established in many parts of the world, including in Canada.
Yes.
So there's much to learn. Yeah.
Thank you for this powerful message. And before I forget, something very important I want to mention, that you are a great supporter for women to become great leaders, to empower them, to support them, to believe in them. What would you say to some woman standing at an age of doubt, looking for an opportunity, looking for meaning for life? What would you say to her or to them?
I say this is the century belong to women, should belong to the women. Truly, when I went to Canada, there were only 8% students were women in the university. Now they are 66%. Incredible change. Yes. It is happening in India. Many more women, girls are in the university than boys.
Yeah.
And they're doing very well. They're in law, they're in forestry, they're in physics, they're in chemistry, they're in business, they're in technology, everywhere. Yeah. So it's opening opportunities. And this is, I say, and the top students in many universities in the world now are women.
Yeah.
So this is not so. This is not so in my mother's time or my sister's time, older sister's time. This is a good change. And women hold the other half of the sky, as Mao used to say. Very beautiful, very important. So learning to respect women in the family, Girls, unfortunately, many societies did not honor the girls. And they thought it's a burden. The birth of a girl was a burden. Now we say, no, it should be a celebration. Okay? Celebration. And we all men, as a man, myself, must learn how to respect our sisters, our wives, our mothers, our grandmothers, our daughters. Really, it's very important. We have not always been very sensitive about it.
Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. Thank you for your love, for your light and your friendship. Thank you for accepting this invitation and for presenting a new version of leadership.
Thank you.
And you've also reminded us that leadership is not about the title. Leadership is about the wisdom, is about also being engaged, impacting our communities in the right ways. And it's a state of being, just being.
Absolutely.
Just being.
Absolutely.
So that wisdom flows like a river.
Yes.
You've mentioned the river. From the Amazon to Ganga to today to Bergreg.
Yes.
Omar Bey in Morocco.
Yes.
To the heart of Africa, the Nile, Nigeria, where I feel I come from. Yes. And lately we discovered through our DNA we're from also some part of Nigerians. And I'm so proud of it and I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, wonderful.
So we've also been talking about peace, and peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of understanding each other, respecting each other, loving each other. Yeah. So thank you again.
I'm delighted
and
to be here.
You've also mentioned dreams.
Yes.
Each one of us has his own dreams, and we believe that big dreams are still in Africa.
Yes.
And big dreams are still also in Asia.
Yes.
And believe in that. And together we can really recreate a new world of peace, of wellness, of sustainability, being connected, and using wisely the AI.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you for listening. Thank you to all of you. Maybe if Professor Kumar wants to add a last word before closing this audience, this podcast session, what would you say?
Well, there's, we need to move away from the rituals of spirituality and make it a living force. Manaka pherat yug bhaya, gayana manaka pher, karka manaka chandike, are manaka pher. For years you've been moving the beads in your hand, yet nothing has moved in your heart. Leave aside the beads, open your hands, let the heart turn. Let the heart turn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor, for your thoughts.
Thank you so
and
much.
Your wisdom
I'm delighted.
And your powerful presence. Thanks to all of you, to the audience of Co-Leaders for Africa podcast for following us. If you feel inspired, please share, comment, and continue to support us and continue to believe in your big dreams. Thank you very much.